And we're back with another OC redraw. This time it's Planed by Redrawing. This was a really cool design and I liked how it looked. I liked the glowing effects and the feel for it. So I decided I wanted to kind of see what I could do. I've changed the pose up a little bit because once I get into a bit of the backstory of the character, you'll understand kind of why I've done that. So this is an OC by Redrawing named Planed, a composition of the words planet and Ned. He's basically a humanoid planet with rocky skin and a kind of green energy form, composed of gravity. He's capable of using his gravity in a form to attract or release objects, and is able to fire off chunks of his rocky skin or attract elements to his body magnetically. This guy is chosen to be a miner due to his interest in fossils and minerals, as opposed to his parents' wish for him to become a scientist or astronomer. He aims to break the stereotypical boundaries set upon him and find his own way in life, which is a really cool thing to do, claiming that life is like the Earth. We don't know what's hiding unless we unearth it. He also likes my universe's version of Minecraft, which is quite cool. So we've got kind of like a rock planety guy that likes Minecraft, which is a really nice little touch there. Next up, we're on to inking the line art, and this is quite cool. You can see how I've done the face on this one. I've started working with the eyes and basically drawing the details. I gave a very anime-esque face because, yeah, drawn in my style. You can see where I've coloured in a different line art colour on this one. This is to kind of help the glow effect. You don't want solid black lines if something's got a glow or if something's going to have a kind of a transparent feel to it. You want the colour to be similar or a slightly darker shade of the colour that's doing the glow. This will still give a shape and a form to it, but it'll also make it a bit softer, which is a very nice trick. So as you can see, I go through the sections, working through the arm with the parts of the kind of like the rocky skin exploded to show the energy form. This is to give the sense of the gravity, and it was quite fun. I also like the idea of doing a circle bit at this point around the hand that's closest to us, and I think it gave a nice vibe of that gravity control. Fingers are difficult to do, so I do need to work on that, but yeah, I think I didn't do too bad on those. Lots of intricate details, so it did take a little bit of time to figure out where all of the green glowing bits are. Thankfully, it was such a good reference image that I could work out the details and adjust them to match where I wanted to. As for the pose of this one, you can see once we're doing the legs, they're kind of floating in the air. There's nothing beneath them, they're not sat on anything. The whole concept of this is the whole magnetic element of gravity and attraction and repulsion, which means there's no reason why this character can't levitate themselves in the air, especially with a rock and mineral covered skin. So I was trying a technique on this one to select around everything and then erase the bits that are outside of the line art. It worked quite well, especially since it had a green body for the main part. It also helped me see if I missed any bits. And then, as you can see, I'm adding the colours, the blues, the rocks and the grey over, which is just the standard flats that we do. I'm creating the glow effect and just making the skin match the kind of reference image with a really bright glow in the middle and a slightly greener, softer outer glow. This was a bit tricky, and I kind of went on the principle of it's got to be cool rather than realistic for the shadows. So I've created the shadows where I think they would make sense for the glowing of the body to a degree, but also there's no real light source for this. The glow would be counteracting. So some of the shadows would be in areas that make sense. Some shadows would actually be in areas where you wouldn't expect them to, especially with kind of a rock metal type covered body. This kind of allows for a bit more depth and detail on it, which I quite like how it turned out. Now, for the shadows, one tip that I've used before and I've mentioned, which is really good, is to get a eraser and set it to a soft airbrush, drop the opacity down to 50% or less, and just lightly dig into the center of the shadow or something. It gives a slightly softer feel and it works, and you just subtly makes it a bit lighter. If you want to get the shadows darker, create a new layer, multiply, repeat the effect, and then just leave a bit more of it, and it'll build up and give quite a cool design. Now we're onto the eyes, and I wanted to try and get a bit of a glow in the eyes for their green eyes, show a bit of a glow and a bit of a yellow into them, at the same time as kind of making them more vibrant. Now this was before I learned a new trick to make eyes glow, but having the contrasting colour across the top does help them stand out a bit more. It's about building the elements up. At this point, I'm adding a bit of a border around the background, trying to make the character stand out. I went back to the older style of border. Instead of being completely framed like you've seen in my artworks, it's the two at the side, which is a really nice subtle bit. I just think it helped. I created a bit of a kind of a broken up glow with one of the brushes. I wanted it to be not quite smooth, kind of like the energy's flowing freely to a degree. And then I added a bit more of a glow effect on top to highlight the areas. And the rest is pretty much post-rendering. It's adding a hard light, giving a bit of a gradient to it, a Gaussian blur, and then kind of like just fading that down till it's about enough to just add a bit of extra emphasis on the character. And tonal curve correction, which is just correcting some of the colours and a few elements, along with a level correction and a colour balance. And yeah, that's pretty much the character, just doing the same things for the background to make sure they work and they contrast well together. At this point, I decided I wanted the name of the character like I've done in some of the artworks, especially Els from the World Building Challenge, the God of Myria. So I decided to put the name in the background, just make it stand out a bit.